Origins of the Horus Heresy. The seeds of the Horus Heresy were sown long before the conflict erupted. It all began with the Emperor of Mankind, a godlike figure who sought to unify humanity and bring about a new age of enlightenment. To achieve this, he created 20 superhuman sons known as the Primarchs. Each Primarch was a leader, a general, and a symbol of the Emperor's power. The Emperor's vision was grand, a galaxy united under his rule, free from the influences of the warp and the dark forces that lurked within it. However, the Primarchs were scattered across the galaxy by the dark forces of chaos, a malevolent and corrupting influence that dwells in the warp. The Emperor eventually found and reunited with his sons, bestowing upon them the command of the Space Marine legions. These legions were the embodiment of the Emperor's might, and each Primarch led his legion with unique strategies and philosophies. Among these sons was Horus, the most favored and trusted of all the Primarchs. Horus was given the title of War Master, making him the supreme commander of the Emperor's forces during the Great Crusade, a massive campaign to reclaim the galaxy for humanity. The Great Crusade was an era of unprecedented expansion and conquest. Worlds were brought into compliance, and ancient human colonies were reconnected with the broader human empire. The Emperor's vision seemed within reach, but the Seeds of Betrayal were already taking root. The Primarchs, despite their superhuman abilities, were also deeply flawed and driven by their own ambitions and emotions. The Rise of Horus and the Seeds of Betrayal. Horus's rise to power was marked by his charismatic leadership and strategic brilliance. He led countless victorious campaigns, earning the loyalty and admiration of his fellow Primarchs and the Space Marine legions. However, the darker forces of the galaxy had taken notice of Horus's prominence. The Chaos Gods, who thrive on corruption and discord, saw an opportunity in Horus. They began to whisper promises of power and glory into his mind, exploiting his ambition and pride. These whispers grew more insistent as Horus's power and influence increased. The turning point came during the campaign on the moon of Davin, where Horus was grievously wounded. In his vulnerable state, he was taken to the Serpent Lodge, a place steeped in dark rituals. Here, the Chaos Gods offered him a vision of the future, showing a galaxy where the Emperor would betray his sons and rule as a tyrant. Horus, now filled with doubt and anger, succumbed to the temptations of chaos. He accepted their power, believing that he could overthrow the Emperor and create a new order in the galaxy. This betrayal was not a sudden turn, but a gradual corruption, as Horus's mind was twisted by the lies and promises of the Chaos Gods. As Horus's doubts grew, he began to question the Emperor's motives and the true nature of his father's plans. The Emperor's secretive nature and the mysterious project on Terra, known as the Webway Project, only fueled Horus's suspicions. He felt abandoned and betrayed, believing that the Emperor was preparing to discard the Primarchs once they had served their purpose. The outbreak of the heresy. With Horus now corrupted by chaos, the stage was set for the greatest betrayal in human history. Horus began to secretly gather allies among the Primarchs and legions, sowing seeds of dissent and rebellion. His first major act of defiance was the Istvan III atrocity, where he ordered the extermination of loyalist elements within his own legion and other allied legions. This brutal purge was a clear declaration of his intent to rebel against the Emperor. The Istvan Vath drop site massacre followed, a battle where Horus and his allies ambushed and slaughtered loyalist forces, solidifying the divide between the traitors and the loyalists. This massacre was a meticulously planned betrayal designed to eliminate the strongest loyalist force's eye in a single, devastating blow. The galaxy was plunged into a civil war of unprecedented scale. The heresy spread like wildfire, with entire sectors of space declaring for Horus or remaining loyal to the Emperor. The traitor legions, now fully committed to Horus's cause, waged a brutal campaign against their former brothers. The conflict saw horrific battles and atrocities as both sides fought for the future of humanity. The loyalist forces, led by the remaining loyal Primarchs, struggled to stem the tide of rebellion and protect the core worlds of the Imperium. The Siege of Terra. The Horus Heresy culminated in the Siege of Terra, the final and most cataclysmic battle of the war. Horus, now fully consumed by the power of chaos, led his forces to the heart of the Imperium, Terra, the throne world of the Emperor. The siege was a brutal and desperate conflict, with both sides suffering immense casualties. The defenses of Terra were formidable, with countless fortifications and legions of defenders. The imperial palace, the emperor's seat of power, became the focal point of the conflict. The loyalist forces, including the imperial fists, blood angels, and white scars, fought valiantly to hold back the tide of traitors. The siege dragged on, with both sides enduring unimaginable horrors. In the final moments of the siege, Horus and the Emperor faced each other in a climactic duel aboard Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The battle was intense and devastating, with the Emperor ultimately prevailing. In his final act of defiance, Horus was slain by the Emperor, but not without great cost. The Emperor was mortally wounded and placed upon the Golden Throne, a life support device that would keep him alive in a perpetual state of near death, guiding and protecting humanity through his psychic presence. The death of Horus marked the end of the heresy, but the damage was done. The Imperium lay in ruins, and the cost of victory was immeasurable. The Emperor's dream of a united and enlightened humanity was shattered, replaced by a grim reality of endless war and suffering. The aftermath and legacy. The Horus Heresy left the galaxy in ruins. The Imperium was fractured, and the traitor legions fled to the Eye of Terror, a chaotic region of space where they would continue to wage war against the Imperium. The Emperor's dream of a unified and enlightened humanity was shattered, replaced by a theocratic regime that worshipped him as a god. The legacy of the Horus Heresy is one of tragedy and caution. It serves as a reminder of the dangers of ambition, pride, and the corrupting influence of chaos. The scars of the heresy are still felt in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, shaping the grimdark future, where humanity is beset on all sides by enemies and its survival hangs by a thread. The Loyalist legions, now reorganized into smaller chapters, continue to fight in the Emperor's name, each bearing the burden of the heresy. The traitor legions, twisted by the powers of chaos, wage an endless war against the Imperium, seeking to bring about its downfall. The conflict between the Imperium and the forces of chaos is eternal, a never-ending struggle that defines the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The heresy also left a lasting impact on the Imperium's governance. The Emperor's rule was replaced by the High Lords of Terra, a council of powerful individuals who govern the Imperium in his stead. This shift in power marked the beginning of a more bureaucratic and rigid regime, where the worship of the Emperor as a god became central to the Imperium's identity. Reflections on the Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy is a story of betrayal, heroism, and tragedy. It is a tale that defines the Warhammer 40,000 universe and continues to captivate fans with its epic scope and profound themes. As we reflect on this monumental conflict, we are reminded of the fragile nature of humanity's unity and the ever-present threat of corruption. The story of the Horus Heresy is a cautionary tale, highlighting the dangers of unchecked ambition and the destructive power of betrayal. It serves as a reminder that even the most noble of intentions can be twisted by dark forces, and that the price of hubris can be devastating. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Horus Heresy. We hope this exploration has deepened your understanding and appreciation of this pivotal event in the Warhammer 40,000 lore. Stay tuned for more in-depth looks into the rich and complex universe of Warhammer 40,000. Until next time, may the Emperor protect.